is the author of new epic fantasy, Seasons of the Dragon, chosen by Publishers Weekly Book Life as one of the 30 titles to showcase American indie publishing at Thessaloniki International Book Expo. She also co-hosts the popular science fiction fantasy podcast, Tipsy Nerds Book Club, and is a judge in the New York City Midnight International Short Story Competition. Take it away, Natalie.
All right. I am reading from Season of the Dragon, and in this section, Quen, the main character, has been taken prisoner. She is being delivered to the capital to a menagerie. Mbika yanked on the chain and hissed, "Kneel." Quen was about to obey, but Pelagia waved her up. "I am not the exalted Mbika. No kneeling is required here." Pelagia locked eyes with Quen. She peered first into Quen's right eye, the clear blue one, then the left amber-colored one. A Doja Nira from the Vindao. Her voice was a whisper. "No, from the Solmare," Mbika said. Pelagia circled them as if inspecting the package Mbika had delivered. "Where did you find her?" "Recovered at the Tilaj gates. She'd been traveling with Druvna's little band of rogue Shagaru." "What did Mbika mean by rogue, Shagaru?" Pelagia stood less than a pace in front of Mbika. "And you, loyal servant of the dynasty, took the Doja Nira off Druvna's hands." "Of course, as Edict 42 mandates, and I have delivered it forthwith to the mistress of the menagerie, as the law requires." Pelagia was silent, but gave Mbika a cordial smile. She clicked her tongue, and the magnificent tiger rose from the perch atop the rocks, leaped over the stream in one easy jump, and sidled up to Pelagia. The tiger's head was half again as large as a person's. He was tall enough to stare Mbika in the eye. Pelagia stroked the cat's head. "Were you under the impression you may abuse and neglect a Doja Nira?" "I never!" Mbika attempted to sound aghast at the accusation. Pelagia smirked, then once again regarded Quen. Her movements were slow and deliberate, and she ran a long, thin finger along Quen's jawline. Her touch was gentle. Pelagia grasped Quen's hands, thrust her palms up, and examined them. Quen's chains rattled, and Pelagia's smile disappeared. Spidery blue veins threaded Quen's palms. They radiated from an intense blue at the center to a purple red at the fingertips. Mbika had said the evidence of her immolation spell was temporary, but in the days since the torture, the bruises had bloomed an even nastier shade of purple. "You immolated her." Pelagia's calm blue-gray eyes grew dark with anger. "She attempted to escape." "You could have subdued her. How else could I counter her power?" The giant snow tiger curled his upper lip, showing a mouthful of pointy teeth fit for tearing and shredding flesh. His chest rumbled with a low growl. "Oh, be still, Nevi." Pelagia patted Nevi's massive head, soothing him. "You see, such primitive methods are unnecessary, even when calming a ferocious beast." She glared at Mbika. "Now remove the shackles and chains." Mbika didn't invoke the spell to open the scorpion lock. "I do not recommend it, not until you have shown you can control this Doja Nira." Pelagia's laugh was deep and throaty. "I need show you nothing. You have delivered the Doja Nira as required. Your service is complete. Now remove the shackles, take your chains, and go." Nevi growled again and bared his teeth, and Pelagia's glare could have withered a day-blooming desert marigold. Mbika wound her hands and thrust them toward the lock while whispering an incantation in the ancient tongue. "I came far, you know. Lost a wagon, a yindril, and 2 horses on this errand." The scorpion lock's legs clicked forward and up, releasing their grip on Quen's wrist. The shackles fell, revealing pale skin in contrast to the dirt covering the rest of her. Mbika retrieved the clunky cuffs, and Pelagia held 2 shiny gold kovars between her fingers. Mbika snorted. You think you need pay me like a common trader and I will be happy for your gold? Pelagia smiled wide. You are a money collector, no? Mbika still didn't grab the coins. Quinn knew little about how money worked beyond the soul mirror. She knew a copper kovar was worth many skins, and a silver one could buy half dozen thukna or a small herd of dray. She couldn't imagine how many thukna a gold kovar was worth. You want to leave empty-handed, and after all your troubles, Pelagia said. She slid the coins together, and they clinked. Mbika held out her hand, and Pelagia dropped the coins into her open palm, avoiding touching her skin. You will tell the exalted, won't you? I'm the one who delivered the Doshanira? Mbika's voice had lost its stoic indifference. She now sounded like a begging child. Pelagia again focused her attention on Quen and gave her an bemused smile. Mistress, you will tell the exalted? Pelagia waved her off. Yes, you did your duty. If I were you, I would go back to southern sands. Who knows, Mbika, you may be lucky enough to find another Dojanira wandering the dunes. A few more gold kovars, and you can buy yourself out of the slums. Pelagia turned and flourished her remarkable cape, and as she did, a few butterflies moved, breaking the pattern, and Quen gasped. She thought they had used dead butterflies to construct the cape, but these were alive. How does she control them to make them behave in such an odd way? If Pelagia's living cape awed Mbika, she didn't show it. Mark my word, you must watch yourself and take care with this one. Pelagia continued strolling away, and Nevi patted after her. She may be a Rajani, Mbika called. Pelagia stopped. She called over her shoulder, Are you coming, Dojanira? Quen turned her gaze to Mbika, the woman who had taken her from her first kin, her friends, and her future. I wish Pelagia would allow Nevi to sink his teeth into her. Mbika, her voice higher and more shrill, implored Pelagia. There are strange things afoot in Andrasi. What are these, Dojanira? Is it related to the dragon? Pelagia continued walking, as though oblivious to Mbika's strident queries. She showed no interest in what Mbika said, not even the mention of a dragon. Quen turned her back on Mbika. She followed Pelagia through the courtyard garden toward the impressive black lacquered door set with an intricate brass web. She hoped she'd never see the puffy-faced Mbika again. Pelagia slid through the doorway into a metalwork spider's web, and, desperate for answers, Quen entered Pelagia's web.